do you forgive? And what do you do when you've been hurt and you really want revenge? My name's Bלקסון, nationally best-selling author of You Are the One. You know, folks, in life as human beings, we have all been hurt at some point. Many times you may have loved big and given your heart and soul to friends and family and relationships and poured your resources, time and energy and trust. Nothing hurts more than loving someone and trusting someone and giving them everything, and maybe they didn't appreciate you, maybe they didn't honor you, maybe they betrayed you, they cheated on you, they took advantage of you in some way, shape or form. Maybe they screwed you over. Maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe it was malicious that they went after you, they hated on you, they attacked you, they set out to destroy you. As human beings, the human experience and relationships can be difficult and challenging in moments. They're never easy. They can be complicated. And, you know, the challenge is if you've been hurt and you carry this hurt and you go through your life carrying this hurt, and then out of your own hurt, you spend your life trying to get revenge and hurt another person. The only person you end up hurting is yourself. All of the energy that is spent trying to right a wrong and correct the karma, all the energy spent trying to get revenge won't bring you peace and will only bring you down. Trying to spend your time and energy to right a wrong won't make the wrong right. Please understand that if you're carrying hurt from being hurt by someone that hurt you, I feel you. It's painful. You have my compassion. You have my understanding. In fact, I believe that it's probably unavoidable at some point in your life as a human being that you won't be hurt by or betrayed by someone. It's part of the human experience. It's what we do in those moments that determine who we're going to be and how we're going to live. But what we have to first realize is, number one, if you've been hurt people often hurt people, and many times people have hurt you, and it's not even you that they meant to hurt. Out of their own conditioning, out of their own pain, out of their own hurt, out of their own wounds, what they often do is project that pain onto you, which ends up hurting you, and it comes towards you, which it's sad that it does, but many times the pain or the lashing out or the ways in which they hurt you had nothing to do with you, had to do with their parents, and had to do with someone else, and had to do with their ex. You just happened to be the one that triggered that pain. You just happened to be the one that pushed the button. You just happened to be the one that was there in the moment where their emotions and their behaviors came out. And often, if people haven't dealt with their pain, if people haven't dealt with their wounds, if people haven't dealt with their hurt, not only will they project on you, but in a certain way, they are, and this is not to condone them, they're not really capable or even able to respond to you in any other way. If they believe what they believe, and if they feel what they feel, hurt is what comes out. So realize, number one, that it's not personal. Doesn't condone it, doesn't make it wrong, doesn't necessarily even mean there won't need to be some consequences for the people that may have hurt you in your life. Some of those might be friendship consequences. You may have to shift your relationship with them. Some of it might be even legal. But realize, nothing and no one is worth your peace. And so even if someone has hurt you, nothing and no one is worth your peace. Holding on to the pain only affects you. The greatest revenge and the greatest freedom for you is actually not to spend your time and energy trying to get them back, but is to release them, is to forgive them, and is to let them go, and to live the fullest, happiest, most joyous expression of your life. Basically, the greatest freedom is to live your best life. The greatest freedom is to be happy. The greatest freedom and revenge It's not getting them back, but getting to the next level of your life and being happy. Being free is the greatest freedom. So realize that it wasn't about you. Realize that it wasn't personal. Realize that they couldn't help themselves. And believing what they believed, they couldn't respond any other way. So on some level, they were innocent, even though it doesn't mean there's not some consequences. And when you realize that from the level of their own consciousness, they had to respond how they responded, you forgive them. The greatest power you have in any given moment is to forgive them. That is the freedom that you have. And it's easier to forgive them when you realize the level of pain that they were in. It's easier to forgive another human being when you realize that from the level of consciousness, they could not have responded and reacted and behaved any other way. It's just where they were in that moment of their lives. So realizing that the real freedom is not just forgiving them, because forgiveness is the ultimate act of power. Sometimes we keep ourselves stuck in a cycle of trying to get revenge towards another person. And the more we try to get revenge towards another person, the more we give the other person power over us. They're not worth it. Realize when you spend your time trying to get revenge and not forgiving because you're right, you're giving that person more power over you, and likely that person doesn't deserve any more time, energy, resource, investment, vibration, frequency. Take your power back. You don't need them to give you permission. You don't need them in any way to take your power back. It's really about your relationship with the other person inside of yourself. It's about your relationship with the other person inside of yourself, which is ultimately your responsibility. One of the reasons that sometimes we don't let go is not just because we're angry at the other person, but we're angry at ourselves. And so if you're carrying any anger at yourself for how you were in that relationship, how you were in that dynamic, how you showed up, how you didn't show up, what you allowed yourself to take, what you allowed to happen to you, how maybe you allowed yourself to be abused, taken advantage of, disrespected, take responsibility, acknowledge your anger, be willing to feel your own anger. Don't project that anger at the other person. Take responsibility, feel it, acknowledge it, own it, experience it, and let it go. All feelings remain present until fully felt. And one of the ways we keep ourselves stuck from letting go, one of the ways we keep ourselves stuck in a cycle of trying to get revenge because we're still angry, is because we don't allow ourselves to feel our feelings fully. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to feel our anger fully, but underneath the anger is usually a deeper level of sadness. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to feel the pain and the sadness because we think that's a sign of weakness, and we don't want to be weak. We think that if we allow ourselves to feel sadness, we're giving the other person power. So we don't feel the deeper depth and vulnerability of what we really feel. It's sometimes easier to stay in the superficial level of feeling and staying angry, but then we never really get over it, because underneath the anger is a deeper level of sadness that we need to feel in order to heal and in order to let go. When you're more committed to your freedom and you're more committed to your healing than being right, then you allow yourself to feel the deeper layers of all that you feel. And as you feel the deeper layers of all that you feel, you begin to let go, you begin to release, you can begin to heal, and you can begin to surrender the pain. All feelings remain present until felt. All feelings, when felt fully, begin to dissolve. And so as you feel your anger and allow the deeper layers of maybe sadness and grief to move through you, you can begin letting go. And through that letting go, you can begin allowing yourself to get to a deeper level of understanding as to why you attracted that person or situation in the first place, because we attract you. Likely, then you can get to What is the lesson for why you attracted this experience into your life? To truly forgive, to truly release another person, to truly let that other person go and forgive them and yourself, we have to get to a place within ourselves where we're able to understand the deeper lesson for why we attracted the situation and the person into our lives. When you understand the lesson, maybe there was something that they mirrored to you about yourself. Maybe there's some karma, some lessons you needed to learn about yourself, something you needed to learn, something you needed to see, something you needed to make peace with, something you needed to heal within your own psyche from your own childhood that they represented, a physical, symbolic manifestation of your parents in some way, a dynamic that you needed to shift in your consciousness, a generational thread or pattern that they were giving you the opportunity to shift and heal. When you're able to understand the lesson for which you attracted that person, and then no longer make them responsible for that lesson, realizing that there was something inside of you, because of that something inside of you, which is why you attracted them, and ultimately they are a mirror manifestation of your consciousness, and there is no relationship out there. We are simply in relationship with an aspect of ourselves that is manifested in the form of them, which is why you attracted that person in the first place. Then you're able to learn the lesson, take responsibility, realize it's not really about them, and to truly let go and shift, you have to stop making it about them. And when you stop making it about them, then you can be free. These are a few thoughts in terms of how you can let go, how you can forgive. If you've been hurt, you feel like revenge, realize the greatest freedom is freeing yourself. Folks, hope you enjoyed this short video. Make sure you subscribe to my website, www.coopblackson.com. Enter your name and your email to receive free gifts, and share this video with everyone in your life that you love.